on, everybody? Welcome to Puck Nation. I'm not going to even remember the name, the number of episode it is because I don't know. I don't.
You're getting
care
old,
anymore.
I think.
Yeah, dude, I was old already. But welcome to Puck Nation. I'm excited about tonight. Excited.
It's
about
episode 80.
We have a great guest. Yeah, it's a guy from my era. So Yanni, if you want to.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch him play. It's okay.
I did.
You know?
I did too.
And anyway, whatever. We'll talk about that later. But before we do, I want to say, guys, what's up, man? You guys good? Everybody good?
Doing very good. You?
You're in town, Mike?
Apparently, I'm here.
Yeah, that's cool. No, I'm saying you're in town. That's good.
Yeah,
That's a good thing. Yeah. Yanni, you good?
I'm good. And honestly, the countdown's happening. The baby's coming
daddy
real
to
soon.
be, daddy to be.
So I can't complain.
That's excellent.
I'm
Man.
already not getting any sleep. So, hey, whatever.
Welcome to our
Getting the practice.
We're musicians, so welcome to our world. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's all good. That's all good. Guys, before we continue with the show, because I'm telling you, I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah,
to
me
have
too.
it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I want to say thank you to all the guys that make all this happen, to our sponsors over at Red One Music. There they are. For all your musical needs, all your podcast needs, all your DJ needs, and everything else, your rentals, your parties, your whatever, go see them at 2069 Chartier in Dorval. You can reach them at 514-225-2226. And you let them know that Puck Nation sent you. You go ask for Sergio, you ask for Tommy, you ask for James, and they'll help you out with everything you need. And you tell them we sent you. They'll fix you up.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They
Yep.
will, won't they?
Yes, they will.
All right.
All right,
The moment
guys,
we've all
listen.
been waiting for.
Yeah, listen, guys. This one's not to say that all the other guys were on. I don't want to shit on anybody. I'm just saying I've been excited about getting this gentleman on because look, he's one of the best goal scorers the league ever had, right? You know why I liked him so much when I was growing up? Because he was smaller like me. I never had to look up like.
So it's like the Johnny Hockey of his era.
Yeah,
Can we say that?
yeah, but like this, I mean, no, Brian can score goals anyway. And he's a Flyer alumni, and we're going to talk about the alumni later. He's 1,000 points.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Games, yeah.
1,000 points. You know what? Fuck this. I just want to bring him on.
Bring him in.
Yeah, guys,
All
just
right.
please help me welcome Mr. Brian Propp. Brian,
Hey,
thank you for doing this. How are you?
I'm doing
You
well. How are you doing?
Awesome. Thank you for doing this. First and foremost, I want to know, how is your health? How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good because my stroke, it was almost 10 years ago in September, and I've come a long way from that. Like at the start, I couldn't talk or walk. It took me a year and a half, but I've done a lot of things to help me just to recover. And a lot of things that I've done in my book, it talks about how I rehab it and how I found out other places so that I could get better. But my health is great. I'm happy to be alive and alive every day.
That was great. Your book, you mentioned your book. I read online. It's called Angel on My Wing. How did that come about?
Yeah, so Wayne Fish, a writer from Philadelphia, he helped me write it. It just got opened up November of 2024, and but it took 2 years to do it. It took a year of recordings and then another 10 months to edit everything, and then it got started in last November. Talks a little bit about. My dad was a Lutheran minister in a little town of 300 people in Saskatchewan, Canada, and he preached in English and German every Sunday. And I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and we're all 13 months apart, so we had our own hockey team at that time.
Wow.
But the faith had a lot to do with it because after my stroke, the doctor said that I should have died because the clot went into my heart, into my brain in 3 different places, and they saw the scans and they said that they can't believe that I'm alive. But I'm happy every day just to be alive there and trying to inspire other people that have strokes and brain injuries. But it's a great book. It talks a little about my faith, a little hockey, and a couple of stories, and my stroke and how I've recovered from my stroke.
That's awesome. You know what? We're going to leave it in the Yanni when we do the show, when we record the show.
Absolutely.
We're going to put it in the notes, and we're gonna
Absolutely. I'm going to throw it into
the
yeah, exactly.
I'll
put it in the description.
I think in Canada, it's publishers like in I forget what the name of it is, but it's Indigo, I think. And then
Yes,
and
yes.
In the US, it's Amazon. So anybody that wants to order a book, like in Canada, it's like $40, and in the US, it's $30. But it's
Perfect.
they could
Well,
go
we're going to put it up in the description. We're going to put it
throw
up
it
in the description
for you.
Absolutely. There must be some nice stories in there,
I
man.
can only imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
How
yeah,
does that-
well, especially
how
the
does a kid-
80s, where we had
no
good
shit.
teams and
No cell phones.
Yeah. That
oh,
was-
yeah,
those were the
no
best.
videos, and we hung
Yeah.
with the fans, and we had a fun time.
Yeah, of course. I'm in my 50s, and Mike is in his 40s, and Yanni's in his 30s, and we always say it's fun to have this kind of podcast because we have like 3 generations of players, right? You know what I mean? Like I saw your whole career. You know what I mean? And I was a big fan because I'm a little guy. I'm only like 5'6", you know, when I'm wearing my mother's heels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really. You know what I mean? So like I was a big fan of yours, and you mentioned the alumni. You're still part of the Flyers alumni.
Yeah, I'm with the Flyers alumni. I've been on their board the last 5 years, but I've been part of that like last 45 years since I first started with the Flyers. And so like we do a lot of things with our Flyers alumni, especially in the summer. We have the whole weekend, like June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. It's like a pickleball, and then it's going to be like
Awesome.
a walk and a run, and then there's going to be the golf tournament that we have. They put it together like that, and so we have like 50 or 60 Flyers alumni that'll be part of that because they fly into the different places, and you need that for the charities that we have and support. And so it's been really good. And then we set up some hockey like with Boston against the Flyers and other
You
teams.
played for both, yeah.
You know, we just we try to give back and help the people that we have.
That's amazing. My God, that's so good. So I wanted to ask you, I was telling the guys, when you got drafted, and you obviously got drafted, you know, the Flyers, and at the time they were, you know, the Flyers, right? So you were 79, if I'm not mistaken, right? You get into that room.
Yeah.
Bobby Clark, Reggie Leach, your first line mates. I mean, a kid from a town of 300 people, and you look up, and Bobby Clark, who's, you know, Flyers, Bobby Clark, right? He's like, he is the Flyers, and Reggie Leach, no less. How did you feel? How did that make you feel playing with those two guys?
Yeah, well, I didn't matter to me because like I knew I was a good player, especially in junior, like for the Brandon Wheat Kings, like I was one of the top scorers the last couple of years. But I know Bobby and Reggie, they played at Flin Flon, which was tough to play in there, like in the mining area. So but I played there for a year before they folded, but it was an experience. But you know, like I didn't mind because like I knew I was a good player, and I worked really hard, and of course Bob Clark led by example. He was the first one in practice and the last one to leave, and that's kind of like what I mantled my career like. And so like but you know, it was good. It was, and of course getting drafted in the 14th like gave me a good chance to play with the Flyers at the start and make the playoffs my first 13 years consecutively. And that's so playing with good players and good teams. So because if I got dropped a little earlier, like I probably would have made the playoffs as much, and you know that's the playoffs is where it counts. Like you know, I was the number one scoring in the left wing history until Marchand just let me,
that rat
games, but playing more. And of course, Alex Ovechkin was 1 point behind me, but he'll pass me like there. But I'm proud of being there for like 35 years, the all-time left wing scoring in the history of the game and playoffs. And so like I mean, a good company.
Talk about good company.
Absolutely.
Mike, you were mentioning before the Canada Cup we played with.
Yeah, you played with the Canada Cup, of course, that legendary team. That must have been unbelievable.
With Gretz and Mario.
Yeah.
Well, I was on the same line most of the period of the tournament, but you know, and Mike Keane, like he was a good coach of ours, and then Bob Clark was a GM, and all these good players were so good to play with, and like Tocchet was a part of that, and Sutter, and so like. Keenan mixed up the lines every once in a while, but you know, I had a lot of good ice time, and you know, I contributed, like especially the second game when we won in double overtime. Like I was helped assist on that goal to to force the game 3, and then of course the winning goal. Like I had a goal and an assist the game before the last game, and so it was a great experience. And so I can say that I was on the winning side at that time with the Canada Cup, and then I was in 5 Stanley Cup Finals and not winning any, but in 80 the Islanders and the Edmonton were like kind of controlled the team. But
you
met dynasties. That's why. You know what, Yanni wanted to ask you which. Go ahead,
which one was did you felt that was the closest win for you guys? Which one did you really think you guys should have had that one?
Which final?
Well, for me, I think it would have been when I played for Boston, because we were number 1 that year in 1990, and the first game was a triple overtime. The lights went out, and the first game, and then of course Edmonton had experience, and then Clino he won it in triple overtime, and that really hurt the first game, because and then from that we didn't get back, but it was the best team that I had against Boston, because Dave Poulin was traded that year, and I got traded at the end of the year, and so we had good teams, and I still remember in that game, Wesley, he had a wide open net and he missed it. And there's a defenseman that you can't trust them. But other than that, like in 1980, 87, it was tough. But we took it to Game 7, but we were really they had such a good team, and then Hextall played so well that year, and Mark Howe was unbelievable, and had a great series like that year too. But and then of course in 1980, when I was a rookie, I didn't know any better. And we lost in overtime, Game 6. Otherwise, I might have the Stanley Cup there my first year.
Yeah, that's right. That would have been nice, wouldn't it? The first time. You just mentioned Mark Howe. You played with Gordy on his last game, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, he played in Hartford, and but I got to play against him. He was 51 when he finished, and he was a year older than my dad when he finished. And and of course I remember in Hartford we only played a couple times, but and then it was. But I was able to play that year, and then we had a 35 undefeated streak in 79-80, and then we had a lot of people in the All-Star games. So of course Gordy had played at his last All-Star game. It was in Detroit, and so I was a big part of that. It was just nice for me just to play against him, even though the ovation he got was unbelievable. He deserved it. But it was just great. And then of course, playing with Mark all those years, and with Gordy being to a lot of those places, hey, we're from Saskatchewan, and we're easy.
That's right. It's from there too. Yeah.
Fun, and we give back.
Yeah, no kidding, man. No kidding.
It's crazy how many great players have come out of Saskatchewan.
Dude, Wendell Clark, baby. Look behind me. Look behind me.
It's awesome. Brad McCrimmon, and Oris Kindrachuk, Salasker, Schultz. There's a lot of good players from there.
Brian, why do you think they never got a team?
What's that?
Why do you think they never got an NHL team? Is it because the other guys voted, not going to happen? In Saskatchewan, I mean.
They don't have as much. They don't have enough people to make the team.
Small market.
There's only a million people in the present province, and so it's just tough. You'd have to build a rink and then have to support it. I know the Regina football team, they have really great support, but that's different. So, but the hockey's a little tougher, and playing in Canada, the money in the US is make crazy. More money, but they had a lot of these Canadian players were in the playoffs this year too, so they're still good hockey.
Yeah,
absolutely. My good. Mike and I are musicians, and we travel across Canada and the United States, and every time I go to Saskatchewan, it's green everywhere. It's Saskatchewan Rough Rider everywhere. Everywhere you go, Rough Rider. I'm like, can you imagine if these guys had a hockey team and followed the real Canadian sport? Not the, I don't want to shit on the CFL, whatever. People love the CFL. It's like religion there, right?
Yeah, it's not
I'm saying, imagine they had a team. Or like Mike, when we go to Hamilton for a show, right?
Exactly.
They go crazy. They lose their minds.
Tiger Cats everywhere.
They're Red Wings fans. They're Leafs fans. They're Ottawa Senator fans. I'm like, can you imagine if these people would have their own team?
Yeah.
It would be.
Oh yeah,
my
well, it's just like Edmonton, like and Toronto. Like Toronto has so much pressure to win, and like of course, they lost against Florida, which is such a good team this year again. And but the pressure in Toronto is out of this world. I mean, who knows what's going on with that? And it's just like, but I always played in the U.S., and so I would have loved to play in Canada. Sometime because I know a lot of people from Canada, and it would have been nice to be one of there or here and there. But I like the pressure. Like a lot of these guys, some guys don't like the pressure, and most guys revel on the pressure. And like Marchand, he's a good powerful game. Like he's about the same size as me, as 5'10", 185, and but he's smart and fast and fiery, and so
way with it, man.
that's what they made good trades like with Marchand and Jones at the end of the year.
Yeah,
that's incredible. That's incredible.
I'd like to say so. Like I'm sure you can tell from behind me. I'm a big Oilers fan.
Always has been.
Always have been. It's not a bandwagon thing since back in
been.
the day. And of course, last night was really rough. But
we're gonna get to that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
I'm gonna ruin you on that later.
Yeah,
that's another story.
No problem. But right now, I just want to talk because we were talking about your Canada Cup thing, and you've had like a lot of great moments, like historic moments in your career. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you were there the night Wayne did 50 and 39. Were you not?
Yeah.
Yes, you were on the ice that night.
It was against it.
The 5 goals. It was against you guys. So I just wanted, that was like one of the most historic nights in goal scoring history. And I was just wondering. I mean, obviously, you guys weren't happy with that happening, but I'm sure that it must have been an overwhelming experience when you look back on that and just to have been part of that and everything.
Well, he's such a good player, and we only played against him twice a year. And of course, against Lemieux, we played in the same division like 8 times, and so I got to know him a little bit more. But Gretzky is they had such good teams, and but he's such a great player. And like even to score, it's tough to score, but his assists are out of the world too. Like he doubles that everything, but he just knew where to get there, and. So unfortunately for us, it was like I don't know. Hopefully I was a plus player that game, but didn't play against him in that one. The other one did, but
you look up the stats.
I know him from the 15 years that I was playing with him, and so in my book there's a foreword with Lemieux and Gretzky, a little bit of my stroke, and so I sent Lemieux a box of cigars and my book, and I still have Wayne's. I just have to get an address for him in Florida, and then I'll send him my book and some cigars. That's too. So nice.
That's so it's nice to hear that you're still in contact with all these guys. That's amazing. That's really cool. Because
we're hockey guys are good guys, and they bond together, and they try to give back, and with me playing all those years and being a good player, I played in hockey and golf tournaments in Canada and Toronto and Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Winnipeg, and by being one of the better players and just being out there, just connecting with the right people, and then also. After my career, I was the radio announcer for the Flyers for nine years, from 2000 to 2009, every home and away and playoff games. So I connect with other alumni, and I have a celebrity hockey event that I do every March or April with 6 former alumni and or Devils and you name it. And I have my golf tournament day after Mother's Day in New Jersey. It raises money for the Stroke Center of University of Pennsylvania, and you just it's a good to give back, and I enjoy it, and people support.
It's so nice to hear. It's so nice to hear that, because a couple of months ago we had Chris Nyland on, and I'm sure you know Chris because you fought.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Against him, yeah. And I asked him. I said, Chris, how is it that growing up I watched you want to take people's heads away? He was crazy. He wanted to, he was the best at it. He was the best at it. And I'm like, and now you're all buddy with them on your podcast, and he's had O'Reilly on, and he's had what's his name,
Dave Brown.
Yeah, you got Dave
Doctor.
Brown on, and I'm like, how is he goes, because we're hockey guys. He said exactly what you said, because we're hockey guys, and that's on the ice, and this is friendship. Incredible,
Yeah, yeah.
incredible.
Absolutely.
That's such an amazing thing. Question for you: who was the toughest guy you played against?
Well, I hated to play against an island because you never know what he was going to do for Montreal. But like for me, like Bob Gailey was tough to play against because he's 6'3", a good skater and checked a bunch of people. So like I hated when I had to play against it because I know that I wouldn't have too many chances to score. And of course, Montreal had good teams in the 80s and 90s, and so like it was tough to score against them too. But after that, like I think I'd ask, say it's Ray Bork, because he's such a good player, offensively and defensively. So like you really know a difference of like the offensive guys and the defensive players and how good they are.
My goodness,
Wow.
Ray Bork. I wasn't expecting that one.
And who was the toughest goaltender? Who did you have trouble scoring against?
With all those points you got,
None of them. I was very
None of
Real goal scorer. Real goal scorer.
Perfect answer.
They were all
like
scared of you.
I scored more lots against the thrower, but like on the it depends on what division you're from, but sometimes it's tough to play. But Brodeur was a tough goalie, and then Haskek was a tough goalie because you never knew what they do. Like they were so awkward, and of course Brodeur, he's like Ron Hextall. He changed the game the way he shot the puck around, because like the Devils just played defense, and then he shot the puck out, and they kept playing the defense, and then that's why they won a couple Stanley Cups.
I got to ask you about the Chelly incident. Did you guys ever make up with Chelios?
No, I haven't. It's in my book. It's about the only thing that I'm not sorry about. Like because I had a chance with Brad McCrimmon's funeral like 12 years ago, like to say hi, but he didn't say anything, and
really?
And he did it on purpose, like with my concussion that I hit, because I was the leading scorer in the playoffs that year, and everybody knows that he did it in a dirty player, and he hit me from behind with the head and knocked me out, and so like so I don't respect him for that, and especially here in Philadelphia, even like when I play golf with some families for some sort of like they still want to get back at him.
Hey, you know what?
You got the support.
It's like that. When you're a fan, it stays with you forever. So.
Absolutely.
Well, it's like last night's game. It's a tough, rough game. But I like the power that they had. Like they knew that they were going to win, but they have to be ready. Like Thursday, they have another game, and like they have to play their better team, best game. This time
must
because
win.
Must win.
Well, it's not a must but it's getting close. But it just would be nice because like I'm cheering for Edmonton because McDavid is such a good player, and but Florida's pretty powerful too, and disciplined. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. What do you think the message would be? Like what do you think Knobloch would say the message for these guys on Thursday night, like for the Oilers?
Well, look at how many penalties they had the first period. Like they have to, against Florida, like they're such a good power play too, and so like it's just like and you can't blame the goalie because his shots were like top shelf and they caught the corners and it was just unbelievable. Like if you play 5-on-5, you have to play disciplined and just use your speed because that's what Edmonton has, and be forecheck a little better. Other than that, like they just have to be patient because like the Florida's so good and they keep coming at you, and you hate to get hit from behind with the defense, and Florida hit them in front, and so it's tough for the defense because you get they force all the time, and they're going to dunk around the puck, and so I was watching Edmonton's other series, and like they pass the puck better back and forth. The defense
then against Florida, yeah.
So now when I see that they're getting rushed, they're rushing, panicking and dumping it around, and they can take their time and just be a little more patient.
Yep, I agree.
The reason I ask you about Knobloch is because you played for two of the most decorated coaches. If I'm not mistaken, you played for Pat Quinn too, didn't you?
Oh yeah. My first year, yeah.
And for Keenan. And
Yeah.
for
Oh
Keenan.
yeah.
Okay, so like, tell me what are they really as like? Is Keenan as whacked as as he seems on television? You know, pulling the goalie, putting him back, pulling him in.
When he started in '87, it was out of college. Like he was first coach, and then, but we had such good teams in the '80s. You got to remember that.
Yeah.
And then like that year, Bob Clark became the GM, and then Dave Poulin was a captain, and then we had Tim Kerr and Mark Howe and Brad McCrimmon as leaders, and so and myself. So we knew how to win because we played consistently every game. And Keenan, like he just he gave on the guys, especially the younger ones, some grief here and there, but he's just kind of teaching them to be prepared for what's going to happen. And of course, Pat Quinn was awesome coach. Like I love the way he coached. Like he
Everybody says that.
X and O's and strategic and same thing with the Flyers. Like but of course we had Kenny Lensman, who
the original rat.
Yeah. He didn't pay attention. He was all over the world, all over the practice, and so we had to keep do the drills all the time. Paul Holmgren and myself, we tell him before just go away, and just messing up the drills.
Go away.
He's such a good player too. Like he played in Edmonton and won there, and but I was fortunate to play with some of these great players that I've known for all those years.
That's amazing. I'm going to ask you about something sad. When you lost your friend, your goalie, Pelle Lindbergh, the reason I'm asking you that is because I had a friend of mine and a family member. It was his favorite player. He became a goalie because of Pelle Lindbergh. And then when all that stupidity happened with the car crash, whatever, that affected you? That hit you hard?
Yeah, because that year, like I wasn't drinking, so like we had like 5 days off, and but I was probably one of the only guys that stayed at home because I wasn't drinking, and then that fortunately that happened that night, and but and I think that they're doing a documentary for that like right now. Like
really?
Oh wow!
There's going to be it's probably going to come out like in a month or so.
Oh my God!
So what I'll text you the address of the.
Oh, that'd be great! Yeah.
But Pelle was such a good guy and good player. He was, who knows? We could have won a couple Stanley Cups if he was still alive, because at that time he was just one of the top goalies in the world. And of course, Bernie Propp. I know Bernie really well, and he took it hard too. But I talk with Bernie all the time, and they said that Pelle could have been like the second Bernie.
Oh my God! Wow, that's a big word, especially from Bernie Propp.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's incredible. I wanted to ask you something. The game today. I ask everybody that we have on.
Same question.
Yeah, the same question. The game today. If Mr. Brian Propp had the chance to change one thing, and I'm going to tell you, 3 of the guys that we had on said the exact same thing, which is what I've been saying. I think it's because of the age. Okay, and I'm not trying to age you. I'm just saying, what would you change today in today's game?
Well, I know that the sticks are so much better, because when I played a Titan shot stick, like heavy and the wood, and like I didn't have a curve, and I've been using some of the Flyers like have their games now, the one pieces, and so it makes a big difference when you shoot the puck. Like I can shoot the puck much better, and so like I think that just having the technology for a stick would make a difference. But I still was in a good position, and smart, and I picked the corner all the time. Like I rarely missed the net when I hit a shot, and I knew when, like, if you shoot the puck in their pads, they go for the rebound. I mean, a lot of these guys they don't understand that, and now, like, the goalies are so big, you just have to go top shelf most of the time.
You got 1,000 some odd points. Doesn't matter what kind of stick you were using, man. You did whatever you did. You did well. You did very well.
Yeah,
it's a new answer, actually.
Yeah, it is. So
because everybody else, all the guys that we had on, they all said the red line. They wanted to bring back the red line, and I remember telling them, like I was telling Yanni, because he doesn't even Yanni, you don't really even remember hockey.
I was
with
born
the red
in
line.
'92, right?
So you
So
don't even
you
remember.
retired
Exactly.
in '94. I didn't really get to watch you play.
Yeah, exactly.
I've only watched glimpses, whatever I could see on YouTube. You know,
I was telling Yanni, I'm like, Jacques Lemaire, he started using that red line as another defenseman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was boring as shit watching New Jersey, but it
Mhm.
worked, man. They got what, 3 cups.
Yeah.
They won 3 cups, man.
Yeah.
You know what? So everybody said I'd bring back the red line because now the speed and the injuries and they're faster and they're bigger and they're this and they're that. And I remember speed or injury, dude. Eric Lindros got flattened by Scott Stevens, and the red line was there. So I don't know if that's
his head down because he's so big, but I always skated with my head up, and so like because I had to watch what. But he was so big and strong, but he didn't. He just skated with his head down, and that's why a lot of the other defensemen caught him in the middle.
Oh my God, yeah, Stevens, my goodness, for real. The big today's game. I keep telling the guys, it's like we saw last night. The Florida Panthers are kind of like bullies, like the team you played for, because I was growing up in the 70s, and the Broad Street Bullies were the team to beat, right? Yeah, exactly, because they were all, do you think today that would work? Because it seems like the Florida Panthers are making it work. They're bullying everybody around.
Yeah, I think so too, because like they're good players in their home rink too. So and like now, like I see that there's 32 teams, and it's all kind of the same, the rinks, but sometimes it makes a difference if you're home or away, especially later in the playoffs. Like the fans are to get into it, and so like I know when I was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like we hardly lost at home, but because we knew the rink, and plus everyone hated to play against us.
What was it? Right? What was it called? The Philadelphia flu or something like that? Everybody got scared to come there.
And bullies.
Everybody was afraid. Everybody was afraid.
Well, a lot of people were like they knew it too, because they're tough teams and they hated to play. And so, but here, like with Florida, so consistent. They've got 4 good lines, and of course, Marchand and Jones as pickups at the end. And Bob playing as strongly as he is too. It's going to be tough, but hoping that Edmonton has a good chance on Thursday, and they can play a better game and make it a little closer. And then the power play is really good, and these players are good, but Florida's got the experience now.
Yeah, no kidding. Brian, I got to ask you before we go a couple questions. Like I said, I'm old enough to. I remember the Cooperalls, the Flyers wore the Cooperalls, and the Hartford Whalers wore the Cooperalls, and I wore them when I was a kid. I love them. I thought they were so comfortable. It was like wearing pants, it's like you're playing in sweatpants. Why didn't they catch on?
Well, I think that they made an excuse for the goalies, because they said the plaque, the black.
Black on black, you mean? Yeah.
Would the goalies couldn't see it, and there's only 2 teams that could use it, like the Hartford and ourselves. So they tried it for a couple of years, and then they went back to the Sucks. But I love the Cooperalls because they were much lighter, and people said that, hey, listen, if they got hit, they slid a little bit more. But no, that it really wasn't like that. It was I really like it because they were much lighter and much lighter, and I really like them.
I like them. I enjoyed them. We used them for a year.
Yeah,
we had to buy our own because with the teams I played for, they used to give you the pants or whatever.
Yeah,
said you want to use Cooperalls, no problem, but you got to buy your own. And I did. What I did was I bought the equipment underneath was a tight. I forget what it was called. It was a tight fit, and then it was like referee pants that were like Cooperalls, and it was amazing. I'm like, this is amazing. It's like you're playing in the gym. I'm like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? I loved it.
I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
In today's NHL, you hear about all these superstitions. Hockey players have all these superstitions. I'm sure it was the same back then, right? When you were playing,
some guys were like with Hextall, like he always had he got dressed the same way, and then he banged the stick like each post and things like that. And so you kind of left him alone because he was kind of kind of not
Loose cannon.
just,
He's a few
as long as
sandwiches
there's,
short of a
know,
picnic.
leave them alone. And
Yeah,
but it's like so I know Ron because my daughter Paige, who's 28, just got married to Jeff Hextall.
Oh, nice.
Like last
Oh, wow.
November.
Are you
So,
serious?
Congrats.
Oh, look at
Oh,
that.
congrats. Wow. Awesome.
Okay.
Incredible.
You didn't have any superstitions, nothing fancy
No,
that
I
you
think,
had to
I think like at the end, like I when I was winning, like I did wear the same suit. Like I think that's
Okay.
what the one guy
like
in
Willem Nylander.
Toronto, I was going to
Yeah.
wear the same suit because
Yeah,
it's lucky.
Nylander.
So that's what I try to do.
Right.
But
Okay.
it's like it took me to 7 games. So
That's it took him to 7 games too, but it didn't work. Yeah, exactly. What's Brian Propp up to today? Like your passions, your thing. Like what are you involved in? Your book and all that. Your cigars.
yeah, so I have my own cigar brand from the Dominican Republic called Guffaw Cigars from the Dominican Republic, and the distributors in
The
Chicago.
Guffaw. The Guffaw.
But Guffaw means a hearty laughter. But
Where did you get that? Where did you get
I
that?
have boxes of 5, 10, and 24, and bundles of 25. In Canada, it's a little
Nice.
tougher to get there, but I still have available. But if they want to go to the website, they can call me, and I can see what's going to do.
That's awesome.
but,
Like I said, we're going to put it all in the description after when the show's over. We're going to put all in the description.
And
Oh my
then,
God.
and I love fishing because like I moved to Florida, Marco Island, Florida, like 3-4 years ago, and so in the summer I'm back in New Jersey at the shore, like Seattle City near Atlantic City. So like I love going fishing and golfing. In the summer, I play a lot of golf with charities. Like I was just at Ron Jaworski's golf tournament last weekend, and I've got another one tomorrow, and one of the best golf courses around. And then lots of charity golf, and so I love giving back. And of course, my book signings, I have do a lot of those, just to get the word out there. But I think at the start, like my book. Was #1 for stroke books too. So like, and then I know that Mike Keenan wrote another book, and so, but it's not my book's not about hockey. It's about stroke and how people recover from it. But it's still it ties in with hockey. So I think I was number 35 for hockey books or something for some time.
Why not?
But it kind of ties in together. But for me. It's my stroke. Like I said, I'm happy to be alive every day, and so I'm just talking to people who have strokes and brain injuries, and they read my book, and there's lots of hints that I can give. My wife, she has a franchise in the U.S. which is called Prime IV Hydration and Wellness, and so it's really good for their IVs, and so like. And one of the things that I've done for them, it's vitamins, and then there's a thing called an NID treatment, like the cells that you have when you get older. You do some drips of that, like for 4 days in a row, and then 3.5-hour drips, and then maintain it every 3 months. And so, like I noticed that every 3 months, like when I get my drip, like the cells are much better. I've been speaking clearly, I think more clearly, and
wow,
my right fingers and the right side still don't work, but it's not as swollen as it used to be. So it really does work. There's lots of things that you can do, and weight wish, like there's things for that, and but that's what my wife does too. My wife.
That's great.
That's incredible.
I wish more of this information was out.
Yeah,
people need more of this information. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But they keep trying to hide it and not tell anybody.
Situations like that definitely open your eyes on life, right? I'm sure you see life completely differently now.
Of course.
Well, I was always such a positive person too. So like, I was one of the best guys, giving back and just being good with people that I know, like, because I did the radio for 9 years. And then like, after that, like I was the ambassador for the Flyers home and away game with Bernie Perron and Dave Schultz for 4 years. And then COVID hit, and then they stopped that. And so, but you just live every day, and you try to be happy and give back. And
that's it.
Live by example.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
Brian, thank you so much for doing this. What it's like an inspiration. Like I love it.
Honestly,
I love it.
This is why I love doing this. We get
This
nothing
is
out
great,
of this,
man.
but this is
so
awesome.
get all his info, put it all in the
do.
description. We're gonna do all that, the cigars, the whole thing.
Sounds
the
good.
the
I'll
whole
shoot
The
you
And
an
alumni.
email.
The
also,
alumni.
just so you know, like the Brandon and Wheat Kings, like they just had their Hall of Fame. It was their second year, so like just did that February this year. And of course, Brian Trache had his
wow.
celebrity hockey event. So we played a game in Brandon, and then we had a celebrity hockey event right after that.
Nice.
And then the next day, like all the guys that were there, like with Steve Stevens and Sutter and Trache and Bill Smith and
Oh my
Kevin
God, really?
Simmons, like they all stayed, and they attended the gala that I had too. So just
Amazing.
I was
It's so nice
happy
to
to be
hear
like-
that you're still all
Yep.
buddies. Just like you were enemies on the ice, and now it's so amazing to hear. I mean, I used to play against my brother on the field, and I wanted to kill him. And that's my
Oh yeah, of course.
brother.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
my
when
brother.
you're older and you're an alumni,
Yeah.
then you kind of you kind of forget about it. You
Yeah, that's what Chris said. Yeah,
It takes a couple of years, like especially we hated the Rangers, and so like
No
it took
kidding.
a couple of years, but
Division.
we were so close, like the Rangers, the Devils, and the Islanders, and Washington. So like, but I know a lot of them from doing the radio, and so like, and a lot of these guys work on TV and radio, and also, so we help each other.
That's so nice to hear. Can you
Great.
imagine one day, I don't know, Ryan Callahan and Brad Marchand shaking hands?
Yeah.
You know, imagine.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
bro, how's it
Like
going?
a game.
Want to shoot around the
When
golf?
they're- when they're
I promise I
alumni-
won't lick you. You know, like
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
when they're alumni, they make so much money now that they should forget.
Yeah, they don't care. Listen, thank you so much for doing this. This is one of
Thank
my
you.
favorite ones. I am so happy to talk to you. Thank you a million times for doing this.
Yeah.
And like I said, hopefully we'll do this again sometime.
Okay,
We're-
thanks,
Good
guys.
luck to you.
Yeah.
Be well.
luck,
And
Edmonton.
God bless.
God bless.
God bless.
Thanks,
Okay.
Brian.
Thank you so much.